The first thing to know is that newspapers are for both sections of Component 1, and that for each section you need to know different things about them. For Part A, the focus will be on representations and media language, and the way you get tested on this will be through analysis of front pages and double-page spreads, such as those based on Trump's election that you're likely to be very familiar with by now. You might be asked to compare unseen text with the set products, you might be asked to compare unseen text with other unseen texts, you might be asked to look at a single text. But to prepare, you need to be confident in exploring and explaining the conventions of front pages, confident at identifying the way in which they present and construct viewpoints, ideologies, and representations. Familiarise yourself with the entire spread of national dailies. Don't just limit yourself to the Times and the Mirror. Know their political stances, their ownership model, but be prepared to meet articles that might deviate from what you expect. Semiotic analysis is going to be crucial here. Think about the connotations of the various codes that the news pages you're analysing are putting to work. Practice will be of utmost importance. Luckily, every day brings us a raft of newspaper front pages, each with their own shrill take on political events. Look at them, think carefully about how and why those views have been presented. Section B is a different kettle of fish and chip paper. Now the focus is on industry and audience, and you're asked to hang most of your knowledge around the two case studies of the Daily Mirror and the Times. Two papers with different political outlooks, different ownership models, and from different tiers of the newspaper market. So let's talk industry. As ever, certain words should leap from the specification, those helpfully emboldened on pages 19 to 21. Distribution, ownership, regulation, production, economics, technology. So let's talk through some of those key ideas. First, ownership. The Daily Mirror is owned by Reach Publications, a group established in 2018 when Trinity Mirror acquired the Daily Express and the Daily Star. So what we have here is a perfect example of horizontal integration. And even more interestingly, the same group published newspapers from very different ends of the political spectrum. Ownership here isn't about a single individual who uses newspapers as a vehicle to promote a politics that supports their own business interests, here's looking at you, Rupert Murdoch, but a group who give different audiences the political outlook that they crave. The Times, by contrast, is owned by News Corp, News UK, Rupert Murdoch. And while nowhere near as aggressively right-wing as, for example, The Sun, it is broadly right-wing, though has room for columnists and commentators from all sides of the political and social spectrum. Distribution. It won't come as much of a surprise to know that newspapers are struggling, really struggling. We're seeing an industry here that's entire business model has been thrown into disarray by the internet. An industry built around the printed product with two clear revenue streams in advertising and sales revenue has been hit by what many describe as a perfect storm. Advertising revenue has plummeted, gobbled up by Google and Facebook, and sales slide year on year to a frightening degree. So how newspapers, with their very existence imperiled, react to those events is key. One key aspect of distribution is the shift to online content, to websites, apps, social media feeds, and to content that is shared via platforms such as Facebook and the iOS news app. Newspapers have reinvented themselves as news brands, a perfect example of digital convergence. News isn't just fast-fading print anymore. It's podcasts, video, minute-by-minute coverage of everything from football matches to Prime Minister's question times. It's something we can share, comment on, participate in. Henry Jenkins alert right there. Newspapers have become news brands, all competing with each other and with digital outfits like BuzzFeed, Vox and Vice, and with giants like the BBC or the New York Times, the global digital marketplace. Which will you give your trust and attention to? And most importantly, which and how will you give your money to? And that, of course, is the big question. With its business model bust, news has tried various methods to monetization. The Mirror, all of whose content is entirely free via its website or app, has pinned its hopes on the advertising model. But with Facebook and Google, as I say, gobbling up the lion's share of online ad revenue, this is a strategy that might not allow them to thrive. And take a look at the content this model often leads to. The Daily Mail, in print, a beacon of middle-class upright propriety, online, a raging smorgasbord of celebrity gossip and salacious paparazzi shots of Love Island alumni battling the constraints of their bikinis. Final score, bikini 1, nipples 2. The Times has took a different road, telling the reader, if you value our content, then you have to pay for it, erecting a so-called paywall around its site. Paying for an often heavily discounted print subscription also offers digital access. Other options includes the Guardian's method. Make their content free, but guilt the readers into coughing up a regular contribution. Others opt for a premium tier approach. Much of the content free, but some roped off for the paying punters only. No news outlet has found the winning formula yet, though The Guardian has seen its colossal losses slow down. And if you can think of a way to fix this malfunctioning market, please stick it in the comments box below and we'll go halves on it when we sell it to The Guardian and every other news outlet in Christendom. For now, print limps on, a product mainly loved by its older, traditional readers and just completely invisible to a new, upcoming, younger generation of potential news consumers. In other words, you. So that's the end of part 1. In part 2 of this video, I'm going to look at some audience issues and we're going to talk regulation as well as Curran and Seaton and Livingston and Lunt. And no, that's not rhyming slang for Piers Morgan.